Hello and welcome to The Rundown. I'm Justin Avery Smith and you're in the Situation Room. Of course you're not. Even when you watch Wolf Blitzer, you're not in the Situation Room. If I was in any room my TV was set to, I would make sure my TV played nothing but Harry Potter movies for the rest of my life. As well as Golden Girls reruns. I love those ladies. Well, now you know my TV taste, let's take a look at some headlines. Wells Fargo is reportedly selling all of its branches in 3 Midwestern states, so if you live in one of those states and want to visit a Wells Fargo, well, it'll be a Fargo. Rudy Giuliani says Bob Mueller should, quote, put up or shut up before the midterms, as opposed to Giuliani, who can't shut up. That's right, Rudy Giuliani says Bob Mueller should put up or shut up before the midterms. No word yet on how much longer we have to put up with a president whose Twitter account never shuts up. There is now an edition of the Kama Sutra for millennials. I get the feeling it was written by baby boomers, though, because some of the positions discussed include the lazy, the entitled, and just the worst. CNN reports that Alec Baldwin says he would win if he made a bid for president in 2020, as opposed to Trump, who just plays one on TV. The Raw Star reports that Trump fixer Michael Cohen expects to be arrested any day now. Well, as they say in Rent, no day but today. In the spirit of Father's Day, Kraft held an auction to give the top 5 bidders cheese sculptures modeled after their dads. It's to get back at your dad for all the times he told you, bite me. That's right, Kraft held an auction to give the top 5 bidders cheese sculptures modeled after their dads. So if your dad is half American, half Swiss, have I got a dilemma for you. A recent poll finds that most kids agree with their parents when it comes to Trump and the economy. Wow, Trump has actually allowed us to maintain family unity, but I still can't walk away angry because my parents can't let me have a Nintendo Switch. Now, the news is depressing, so we're going to talk about video games. That's all I'm going to say. We've been doing this show for roughly a year and have produced 5, count it on your hand, 5 episodes. 5 episodes in 1 year. I'm pretty sure that qualifies us for mini-series status. How do you like that? The first ever late night mini-series. Always the innovators here at The Rundown. In any case, we've lasted longer than Hi, Honey, I'm Home. Yes, amazingly, some network greenlit a sitcom in 1990 that depicted Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun as a honeymooners-style couple living next to, of course, the Goldsteins. Are you cringing in your seat? No? Well, congratulations. You have poor taste, no soul, and qualify for a free seat in hell. And in case you're wondering, yes, that show was canceled after 1 episode. In any way, though, in celebration of that year, and as a nice little flashback Friday, we tape the show on Friday, so that's why you might be confused why we're doing this on not a Friday whenever you're watching this. In our pilot, I dressed for the occasion in this stunning blue sweater that didn't at all clash with the background, even if it did match my eyes. However, we also talked about mismanagement within the gaming industry, and now might be a good time to revisit that and see what has changed, both within the industry and here with how previously discussed topics are perceived with the benefit of hindsight and experience. And while hindsight might not always be 60 FPS, it is 2020. You might remember we discussed a series called Metroid that I had never fully played, and that I'd never fully played a Metroid game. Well, a year later, that has changed. I've now beaten Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, and of course, Metroid Other M. Still doesn't sound right. Before we delve any deeper, let's just answer the question I know you've all been dying to have answered. Did I figure out what the Other M is? Of course I didn't. Anyway, when we first spoke about that game and how it was mishandled, a lot of grief was thrown both at the portrayal of Samus and how weak the story was as a result. And while this show stands by all that, it's only fair that after playing the game and now having first-hand experience with it, to give a more informed piece on it. Well, the opinion hasn't changed much. Some background information. Not about the Metroid series really, but about the man responsible for the game's oft-criticized story. Meet Yoshio Sakamoto, Japanese game producer and Asian Howard Stern. Believe it or not, he's the one who wrote the game's story and not Metroid newcomer Team Ninja, a team who's most famous for bringing this into the world. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that club was empty. Seriously, look at it. Who is she performing for? Does she even work there? Please, someone write to me. I need these questions answered. Okay, now that I've collected myself, Metroid might be a series that is literally out of this world, but Team Ninja was very much grounded by only touching the gameplay, which, if you'll notice, looks amazing. Its animations are fluid and crisp, the color palette can be broad and well blended, and it runs at a smooth 60 frames per second. Its presentation is honestly half the reason I personally was interested in playing the game. It's pretty to look at, and I never matured past the age of 7 months. Playing the game, I quickly realized that while Metroid games are best known for their mystery, nonlinear progression, and a protagonist whose actions more than speak for themselves, Other M is what happens when you take those games, turn them inside out, and instead of drawing conclusions for yourself, exposition and plot points are shoved down your throat. Similarly, just like how it is hard to tell what Samus, the stoic, silent, independent bounty hunter you will play as, might be thinking at any moment, this time there isn't a shadow of a doubt what she's thinking.
Watching this disgusting beast, I felt as though it was feeding off my power as well. Out of nowhere, I suddenly found myself concerned with his opinion again. Unbearable thoughts welled up in me. My racing thoughts started to frustrate me.
Us too, Samus. Us too. Speaking of which, the more you look at Other M and put it side by side with almost any of the main Metroid titles, the first thing you'll think is, what the hell were they thinking? The main reason for this being the relationship between Samus and Adam Malkovich, who is Samus's former commanding officer and now apparently surrogate father. In Fusion, which takes place after the events of Other M, Samus felt such an attachment to Adam that she named a computer after him. And how does one treat intergalactic hero Samus Aran to make her feel that way?
What are you doing here?
The first words out of his mouth were typical coming from Adam.
Typical. If someone greeted me like that, I'd never want a greeting from them again. What does he send for birthday cards? Happy birthday, hope you find some use out of this Toys R Us gift card. You're kind of making this relationship a hard sell already, Sakamoto, but don't worry, they just started on the wrong foot.
And then I asked what circumstances led the Federation here.
That information is not for an outsider.
Okay, not exactly a warm welcome. I'm starting to get the feeling you don't like Samus, even if she prevented your certain destruction on multiple occasions, but what's that matter when it's done by an outsider? Put him in his place, Samus.
The word he so obviously chose, outsider, pierced my heart.
Or read an excerpt from your diary, you do you. Now, masochistic back and forth aside, what feels like a big middle finger, not just to Samus, but to Metroid fans in general, is this remark from Adam.
Samus, looks like I'm gonna need to ask for your cooperation on this mission, but I'm also gonna have to ask that you follow my commands. You don't move unless I say so, and you don't fire until I say so.
You do know who you're dealing with, right? This woman single-handedly obliterated an entire species, went toe-to-toe multiple times with the creature who killed her parents before avenging them, and managed to uncover ancient secrets beneath plant surfaces that equipped her to be a more formidable adversary against the mother of said extinct species, and you're gonna ask for her cooperation? You've got some nerve, buddy. You, if anything, you should be kissing the high jump boots you have the nerve to not let her use. Now, we can't let Samus off the hook here because she is seemingly willing to die for Adam, and not in that heroic sacrifice way, more of that, if Adam has decided to restrict me from using abilities that will save my life, I guess that means I have the honor of being someone who died taking orders from Adam Malkovich. In fact, during my second playthrough, I was stuck in a tunnel in Morph Ball mode, and a creature was ganging on me, and since Adam didn't allow me to use Morph Ball bombs, I couldn't defend myself, and that was my first game over. And that was even before Adam gave his whole bit about asking for cooperation. And if we were just to put the games side by side for a second, just tell me, not as a character, but as a player, what is more satisfying in terms of leveling up? This, or this?
Samus, use of the grapple beam is authorized.
Well, that was a momentous occasion. I feel so privileged you have loosened my shackles so that I can save my friend's life. Even this. Feels more triumphant than this.
Samus, you need a permeating shot effect to get past this. I'm authorizing you to unlock your wave beam.
So you can shoot through walls with a weapon that seemingly defies the laws of physics. No big deal. I'm sure anyone would appreciate the restriction of such an awesome and practical ability. Thank you, Adam, for denying me such an amazing weapon for no real reason. But we haven't even gotten to the cream of the crop. This. Pitted up against this.
Samus, activate the Varia feature on your suit to protect yourself from heat damage.
Now you tell me? Speaking of the gentleman who neglected to tell Samus to activate her life-saving feature on her suit after she entered that scalding hot lava-filled area, it would seem weird that Samus would wait for an order to equip a survival tool, and you would be right, especially when you put it up against the piece of the intro from Metroid Fusion, which, while taking place after the timeline, actually came out before Other M and reads as follows. For someone who dislikes taking orders, this is the second time I found myself having to do so. It makes me recall my other CO. Why would you listen to him, Samus? Especially when you yourself said,
When I rebelled against him, I knew I could get away with it.
if you knew you could get away with rebellion, then why not do it when your life's on the line like that? You sound like a tough teenager outside a convenience store telling your friends you could totally steal from there and get away with it. I could totally get away with it, man. Do it then, bro. We're here. Yeah, now's your opportunity. I don't have to do it, man. I know I can get away with it. Shouldn't that be enough? What? Do you need me to authorize it or something, bro? It'd be greatly appreciated, bro. Oh, thanks, man. You're the best. I know I can count on you. Wow, the way she flip-flops like that, Samus could be president. Then, all of a sudden, we're given this order.
We currently have no plans to authorize the use of power bombs. As you know, they have the ability to spread a high-temperature heat wave over a large area, impacting living things, which is a nice way of saying they can vaporize humans instantly. You should be well aware of how dangerous power bombs are, and how their devastation can't be obstructed with common materials.
Yeah, you know those things that felt so cool and satisfying when you showed those walls it was boss? Like the game was... It's like the game was written as a screw you to everything Metroid fans stand for, and to think this story was written by the same man who gave us this badass moment. Ah, it's evil, it's Samus and it's evil. Now, this was something that long plagued the Wii throughout its life cycle, trying too hard to appeal to casual gamers and leaving the dedicated fan bases in the dust as a result. The same can be said for Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And if you're a Zelda fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, the creepy songstress, Fee, or passive-aggressive Siri, as I like to call her, is always giving you the nudge-nudge, wink-wink. Maybe you should do this, Master. Master, did you know your shield is almost broken? Master, there is a 75% probability you have reached your destination. Master, did you know you can move your sword to strike enemies? Huh? Now, one big question that has yet to be answered, and likely the question other M's had to answer, was how did Adam sacrifice himself? Well, long story short, they discovered there's a breeding program on the bottle ship that created unfreezable Metroids, cold being the Metroid's weakness, which doesn't at all sound like the twist in Metroid Fusion, where computerized Adam tells Samus the Federation has been secretly working on a Metroid breeding program. Imagine creating Omega from larval Metroids in days. And in that game, the computer Adam jettisoned the section housing the Metroid breeding program. And you're probably wondering what Metroids are at this point. They are the alien species, largely considered the biggest threat to the galaxy, having the ability to suck life energy out of any living Metroid, out of any living thing. In Metroid 2, Samus seemingly annihilated them all, but the Federation, seeing their potential as weapons, among other things, insists on experimenting with them and breeding them. And while the program was destroyed in Fusion, which takes place after Other M does, how does Adam, in life, decide to deal with the same issue? In Other M, Adam decides to incapacitate Samus and go to the section housing the unfreezable Metroids, shoot the place up so that it will auto-detach and self-destruct. This way, Samus can take care of Ridley and everything else. His reasoning? Galactic Savior, you called her an outsider just a few hours ago, and you managed to take her down with one shot? And how does Samus feel about Adam's sacrifice in that moment? Calmer than you usually are. Ridley freak out aside, you've seemed pretty chill until now. You faced off Mother Brain, watched that baby Metroid give its life to save you, gone against Kraid, Crocomire, and Phantoon. You're perhaps one of the most chill women in gaming. And towards the end, we see Phantoon, who was on that wrecked ship underwater in Super Metroid. For some reason, he's here outside the bridge of the bottle ship. Why? Because he likes ship as much as Imelda Marcos likes shoes, I guess. That's the best explanation I can come up with, at least. If we're to synthesize all of this into a few seconds, though, this statement should just about sum it all up.
But if you're willing to turn your brain off and ignore the story, I can see the appeal in smashing a few buttons to guide Samus through some visually satisfying combat. I can even see it being a fun game to unwind with in small doses. Other M, in the best case scenario, is video game junk food.
That's right. Video game junk food. If you're willing to turn your brain off, get lost in the combat, ignore the story, there's a chance you'll enjoy yourself. How promising is that? In fact, many people might agree that the Wii itself was a junk food console. Everyone can enjoy it, it was very popular, but in hindsight had some serious flaws. If we were to get into specifics, I think of it like AIDS diet candy, an actual appetite suppressant that was praised when it first came out, but kind of lost popularity when they realized how much in poor taste it was. No pun intended. Don't believe me? Take a look for yourself.
I've tried fad diets, powders, pills, still my weight's been up and down like a yo-yo, until the AIDS plan taught me how to take off weight and help keep it off.
AIDS may taste like a candy, but AIDS contains one of the most effective appetite suppressants you can buy, and there's no stimulant in AIDS that could make you nervous.
With AIDS, I ate less, so the weight came off. To help keep it off when I sometimes want things loaded with calories, AIDS helps put me in control.
Let the AIDS plan teach you how to take off weight and help keep it off. Try peanut butter AIDS.
Yes, peanut butter AIDS. Now, before we go, I'd like to quickly discuss another franchise discussed in our pilot, Tomb Raider. A lot has actually changed with regards to the series since we first started. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was announced for a September 14th release on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And if you think I didn't buy the $90 Cross Edition that promises 2 days early access, 7 challenge tunes, 7 outfits, 3 outfit weapon packs, and steelbook packaging, you clearly don't know me. Tomb Raider also got a movie that not enough people are talking about, which was released this past March with Oscar winner Alicia Vikander in the title role. Hashtag talking about Tomb Raider, hashtag voicing support for Vikander. The game that was our main point of discussion in the pilot was The Angel of Darkness, which recently celebrated its 15th anniversary, and if anything we said in our pilot, still almost after a year, still has you interested in supporting the game, giving it the best chance it has, and keeping the conversation alive. There are websites and Facebook pages like Tomb Raider The Angel of Darkness HD Remaster on Facebook. The link is on your screen now. You can buy the game on Steam and apply some very creative, useful mods that improve the experience. Just Google Angel of Darkness mods and you'll find a plethora of them. If no other reason, please do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to do it again. Please take care of yourself and have a good one.